Journey across the stars as you set off on an adventure 25 years in the making. My name is Codiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and today we're diving into the most anticipated game of 2023 and sharing some important details about Bethesda's open universe RPG, Starfield. I'm excited to announce that Legacy Gaming is giving away copies of Starfield, and you can enter right now for your chance to win. To learn more, head over to our website legacygaming.gg and click on the News tab up top. Follow the instructions, enter for your chance to win, and good luck. Unless you've been living under a rock, then you've most likely heard of Starfield, the epic space game that promises to take players across the stars to uncover the secrets of the universe. By all accounts, the game is massive, and if you're just starting to wrap your head around what Starfield actually is, then you need some place to start. And I can think of no better beginning than understanding how you, the player, is transported into this new world, create a character, and come to find yourself at the center of the game's biggest mystery. Starfield is a single-player RPG built in the new Creation Engine 2. A lot of what makes Bethesda games great is woven into Starfield, from the character creation to the dialogue interaction to the overall massive scale and ambition of the project. Starfield is set 300 years into the future, in the year 2330, and while you might think it's built in a universe far away, that's actually not the case. The game takes place within the Milky Way galaxy, in an area that extends outwards 50 light-years from our solar system. We know planets like Mars will play a big part in the Starfield experience, as the team has already revealed it to be home of one of the largest mining operations in the galaxy. One look at Starfield and it's clear. The game isn't your typical sci-fi adventure with pristine spaceships, sleek modern amenities, and the futuristic aesthetic we've come to know and expect from modern science fiction. In fact, Starfield's design is dubbed NASA Punk by the developers, and it's based largely around the designs of the 60s and 70s, also known as the era of the space race. As an observer, things look utilitarian and more realistic, which fits Bethesda's style established in games like Fallout. That's not to say there won't be aspects of the game that feel more modern and futuristic, but a vast majority of what we've seen fits into this much grittier design philosophy. To understand Starfield, we first need to travel back in time, before our character arrives on the scene, to the year 2310. It's during this year that the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective, the two largest factions in the game, engaged in what's known as the Colony War. It was a bloody affair, and at this point, that's all we really know, but it's important context as our character enters the fray 20 years later. Now, in the year 2330, those two factions enjoy an uneasy peace. You are the newest member of a group called Constellation. Inspired by famous navigators such as Ferdinand Magellan, Constellation is known as the last group of space explorers in the galaxy. Alongside a small posse of like-minded individuals, you'll take to the stars as you attempt to unravel mysteries that continue to perplex mankind. Constellation's leader is Sarah Morgan, an ex-soldier and adventurer. Amongst its ranks are also Mateo, a theologian that holds a firm belief that intelligent life is out there. There's also Noel, a gifted scientist and Sarah Morgan's prodigy, as well as Walter, a successful businessman within the settled systems and the group's financier. Constellation members also include Vasco, a fully autonomous expeditionary model robot that aids you and the group whenever and wherever needed. There's also Sam Coe, a former space cowboy, Vlad, the ex-pirate, and Barrett, the rough-around-the-edges explorer that's always good for a laugh. If it's not clear, this is an eclectic group that shares one thing in common: exploration. And as the newest member, you'll be at the very center of Constellation's latest adventure. What's that, you might ask? Well, little is known of the game's overarching story, but we do know that Constellation has a keen interest in an alien artifact. We've seen it multiple times throughout a number of trailers, and as you might expect, if some other intelligent being created those artifacts, there's no finer group to unravel that mystery than Constellation. The artifacts themselves resemble gateways, and in fact, we see one used as such during the official story trailer. This might be the penultimate beat to an otherwise long and complex story, but how we get to that point is completely a mystery. The best view of these gateways is in this shot here, where 3 are clearly visible, but there's also an important connection to a strange mineral the player will have to discover during the course of the game. While we're racing around the galaxy, we can't forget about the uneasy peace between two space superpowers. Both the United Colonies and the Free Space Collective could play a major role in shaping the main narrative of the story, and they're not the only groups looking to influence the galaxy. And as you travel to distant planets like Neon and the Key, you'll run into other key players within the universe. The long and short of it is this: Starfield is still largely a mystery when it comes to the game's story, and that's okay, because the team has said on countless occasions it's up to the player to determine their Starfield adventure. Before ever setting foot on an alien planet, we'll need to create a character, and by all accounts, Starfield is set to have one of the most in-depth character creators in modern gaming. Fun fact, the developers actually use the creator to generate most of the NPCs in the game, so almost everyone you see and meet will have filtered through that system. In typical Bethesda fashion, the game will start with some sort of blackout, and your character will awaken to a few friendly faces offering a new lease on life. Enter Argos Extractors, or the character creation system. Players will all start by selecting one of 40 biometric IDs, and these will act as a foundation for the unique character you'll create. There are a number of options that run the full spectrum, from young to old, male to female, so on and so forth. Once you have your preset selected, you'll move to the Body tab, and here you'll first manipulate your character's stature, dynamically moving between thin, heavy, and muscular until you're happy with the look. You'll also get to toggle between 2 preset body types and 2 distinct walking styles. It's all personal preference here, as we're still not remotely done with our character. Finally, on the Body tab, you'll choose a skin tone. The Face tab is where character customization really turns into an RPG fan's paradise. The sheer number of options are overwhelming, and within each category, the team has expanded nearly every option since the system was first revealed back in 2022. Categories include skin tone, head shape, hair, hair color, facial hair color, eyes, eye color, nose, ears, cheeks, mouth, teeth, jaw, chin, neck, jewelry, dermaesthetic, complexion, complexion color temp, complexion blemishes, scars, and facial forms. And that's not all. Within some of those categories, you can further customize in a more dynamic way. For example, you can edit the head shape to be more square or round, wide or thin. The same can be said for the mouth, which has a surprising amount of customization. This is one category where you see the game's shape blending system in full effect, which allows you to make micro adjustments to get the desired look. If you're someone that normally spends hours creating your character, expect to spend the same, if not more time here when Starfield does release. What's really special about character customization are the 2 systems that will have an immediate impact on gameplay: backgrounds and traits. We're going to go over this in much more detail later on, but for now, I think it's important we touch on it at a high level. Backgrounds provide a little backstory on your character, who you are in the world, and what starting skills you enter the game with. You could choose to be a combat medic, skilled in pistols, medicine, and wellness, or choose the life of a diplomat and start off with skills in persuasion, commerce, and wellness. Your choice here isn't just about skills, but also opening up new opportunities, such as dialogue options that only your background is suited for. It's an important decision and, as far as we know, a permanent one, so you'll have to think carefully before making that choice. Traits are another system that impacts gameplay, and this one is a little more a la carte. You'll get to choose up to 3 traits that all have varying impacts within the world. One of the traits showcased ahead of launch is called Hero Worshipped, and with it comes the attention of an adoring fan that you might recognize from the Oblivion days, that follows you around, talks your ear off, and gives you gifts. The fan will also join you on your crew, so you can see that there are gameplay implications based on what you pick. Again, we'll go over these in more detail later on. With our character created and important decisions made, it's time to step off on our great space journey, but we've only scratched the surface of what awaits us in the great beyond. From the first few minutes of the first reveal, we saw one question over and over again: will Starfield support mods? In a recent interview with Todd Howard, studio director at Bethesda, he confirmed that the game will have full mod support, and over the past few decades, Bethesda has relied on the modding community to enhance and extend the life of games like Skyrim. Obviously, this is welcome news to both modders and players, because with a giant space sandbox to explore, it opens up a world of possibilities for the community. Mods can solve a number of unique problems and fill content gaps in the game that the developers either couldn't or didn't want to create. With that in mind, I do think it's worth pointing out what Starfield isn't, so new folks checking out the game for the first time really have a clear understanding of what's in scope and what's not. First is understanding that Starfield is a true offline single-player game. Just like most other Bethesda titles, you'll be playing alone in the universe, and with no co-op or massive multiplayer element to the game, it's an experience with you squarely at the center. Another recently dispelled rumor is that sadly, Starfield won't have any sort of ground transportation, so no space rovers or alien mounts. I'll admit this one took us by surprise, and it does seem a bit strange to force players to navigate over 1,000 planets all on foot with just the help of jetpack boosters, but that's what it is. This is a clear problem that the mod community can solve for, and I'd imagine it's going to happen relatively quick. Not quite as serious, the game also won't have any sort of traditional fishing. Todd did confirm that fishing with a rod wasn't part of the game, but did leave the door open for some sort of activity that resembles fishing, but in space. Again, easily solvable by some creative mods. Finally, I wanted to point out something about aliens in Starfield. According to Howard, only 10% of the planets will have alien life. The trailers and video clips we've seen leading up to launch paint a much different picture, so I think it'll come as a shock to some folks when they land on planet after planet, only to discover a world devoid of life. At the end of the day, most, if not all, community-driven problems can and probably will have a community-driven solution, including the possibility of multiplayer functionality. But we are far, far away from that reality. This was just a taste of Starfield's awesome potential, and as you no doubt have figured out by now, there's a lot more we need to unpack, including space exploration, crafting, outpost building, and of course, progression and combat. We'll tackle all of that and more in future videos, so if Starfield is on your radar and you're excited about more videos like this in your feed, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, and consider subscribing. Our team plans on covering Starfield from top to bottom, so be sure to keep it right here for more content. We also invite you to join us on Discord. Our community of nearly 20,000 strong is a great place to hang out, talk about games, win free prizes, and group up. If that's something you're interested in, check out the link below. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.